bound.
We've
to
heard
the
this
iron
before
will.
together. If you want to watch that again, it's in my previous video, my first video, which I'll link here. Okay, guys, so, like I said before, this is the Ares server. This is a Burning Crusade server, okay? It is nowhere near as populated, and as I'm running around here, I don't see anyone even here. I wonder if this is even up online. It is. Okay.
I'm listening.
So, what I decided to do is, since it's going to be a while before I can get on the Chronos, I'm going to go through basic World of Warcraft from start to finish for anyone who's scared to try and has never tried before. So this will be a beginner's guide to WoW, beginner's guide to questing, beginner's guide to everything. Everything. Okay? So, let's start from the basics. I want to change my, use my UI scale real quick just to change things around. Still not where I want it. That's better. I'll go a little lower, actually. Okay. So, this is your basic screen. Okay? When you log in and pick your class, I'm going to pick Warrior because I would say the Warrior is the default class. If I had to pick a default, it would probably be Warrior. They're not easy to master, but they're easy to explain the core principles of the game. Up here in your top left is your character portrait. This is the picture of your character, your health, and your secondary statistic for Warriors is Rage. Other classes will have mana. Rogues have energy. We'll explain that later. This is your mini-map. Clicking on the magnifying glass will actually let you track certain things. Now, this is Burning Crusade, and this is also true in Vanilla. You can only track one thing at a time. If you're in a party, you can click on this map and transfer information. Say, hey, there's a mob here, there's an elite here, hey, I found a mining node. It's a way for you to talk to people. Hitting the M key will bring up your map. So all you can see here is all we know is we can see this place called Death Knell. This is your starting zone. This is so our race is undead, which is one of the Horde. There are in Burning Crusade there are five races to choose from, but in Vanilla there's only 4. So I picked Horde, and this is undead, and I'll explain in a few seconds what that means. So this is basically, you know, this is your world map again. You can click that. This is you can zoom in, zoom out. I usually keep it like right in the middle. Time. So realm time is 6:29 a.m. It's based in Europe, so that's why. And you set alarms, blah blah. This is, I think, only in Burning Crusade, but we'll get to that later. This is your action bar. Okay, on the action bar is attack, heroic strike. Heroic strike is a special ability. What I do is whenever I click on a mob, actually before I do that, let me just set up my. I like to have additional action bars, guys. Meaning that I can move things around. I'm actually going to get rid of attack, and I'll show you why. Actually, I'll leave it up here for 1 second, and I'll put heroic strike here. Always check into your spellbook when you first log into your character, because there's special attacks in here that are not on the thing. One of them is Cannibalize, which allows undead to eat a corpse and regain health. Anything that's passive, you cannot put on your action bar, because it's passive. I have a 5.54% to dodge. I don't need to put that on my bar because it's going to happen. If somebody tries to attack me, 5.54% of the time, I will dodge the attack. Shadow resistance. My shadow resistance is increased by 10. That's because I'm undead. Underwater breathing. Undead can last longer underwater. They can breathe longer. Finally, Will of the Forsaken. This will get you out of effects that will affect your character negatively. We call them movement impairing effects or action impairing effects, and we'll get to that in a second. And I missed block. Block is I need a shield, I have a shield on, and that increases my chance to block. Blocking does not remove the attack damage, it just mitigates some of it. Alright. So I am not going to turn on auto loot because it's not in vanilla. Okay, so I'll remove that. In vanilla, there is no option for auto loot. If you notice, when I selected this rat, even though it's not really any threat to me, you'll notice my auto attack starts to blink. It's default in the game for you to continually auto attack. You want it that way. There's no reason to have this on your action bar, so we're going to get rid of it. Whenever I'm targeting something, when I right click, my stance of my character changes. That means that I'm ready to fight. So when I come in the melee range, because this is a warrior, he doesn't have anything ranged, I have to go into melee range to fight, I'll start swinging. Okay. Rats are pretty weak, so I destroyed it. Alright. But that'll change once I fight monsters that are a little more strong. Okay. The reason why there's 2 gold things here is because I'm tracking repair. So it's telling me there's 2 people that I can repair. That'll come into context later. What I really want to worry about is this question mark. In the vanilla WoW, the question marks look just like this, okay? I have to turn in a quest. I picked up a quest from that dude when we walked up from the catacombs. If you open up your quest log with L or by clicking here, you can look at your quests. If you hold down shift and click the quest, you can normally track it, but there's no objective, so it won't let me. I'll get into that later. So at every quest, the first thing is what the quest tells you to do. And it's called Brood Awakening. The first line underneath the title tells you what you need to do. Speak with Shadow Priest Sarvis. And then there's a brief description. For description, this isn't necessary to read, but there's probably usually clues in here. And there's also interesting information about the quest. Next thing I want to do is inventory real quick. When you start off an inventory, depending on your class, you always start off with a hearthstone and some food. I bind my hearthstone here at all times because I want to be able to click it when I need to hearth. Hearthing has an hour cooldown, and it, okay, apparently it's a 30-minute cooldown on the server. That's not retail. That's not what it was when this game came out. The area server has some little bit of weird tweaks, which we'll get into, but it's not going to affect this tutorial. Whenever I want to go back to my hearth, I click this. No matter where in the world I am of Warcraft, I click this button and let it cast all the way through, and I'll return to wherever my hearth is set. As a new character, your hearth is set where you started, which is in that catacombs over there. Okay, let's turn in our quest. Here is Shadow Priest Sarvis. We're going to right-click on him.
I am forsaken.
Okay, and when we click this to turn in our quest. Again, you can read this, but complete quest. You'll notice there's an XP increase. This bar that is partially filled, once it gets to the end, we will increase in level. Each quest and each monster we kill or complete, we will get more experience points. Okay, this exclamation point means he's giving us a quest. Exclamation is giving, question is turning in. Not sure why that is, but it is. So, here's some reading over here, but the quest objectives is what we really want to know. Shadow Priest Sarvis wants you to kill 8 Mylan zombies and 8 wretched zombies. And then we have an award of either cloak or gloves. So accept.
Goodbye.
We'll say adios to Shadow Priest Sarvis, and then we'll start running out. So if you notice, I hit enter. Enter opens your chat box, and / is how you start a command. If I just wrote the word wave, I would say wave. Okay, that's not what I want to do. I want to actually wave. So / wave makes my character wave. Okay, I waved to no one because I had no one selected. When you select something, it shows up here. Either you can right-click to select or left-click. When an NPC or a non-playable character, which could be an enemy or a friend, and you right-click on a friend, you notice my stance does not change because I'm not trying to kill him. However, if I right-click on something that I could kill, like the zombie over here, my cursor turns into a sword, and when I right-click, my stance changes. Okay. We'll get into that in a second. So, let's open up our quest log. If we shift click, it now shows up over here, and actually will track our process. Okay. Anyway, back to chatting. I know I'm going back and forth a lot, but this is the way my brain works. So again, this is your chat bar, and you can say whatever you want. You can say anything. Here's a another player. So if I click on that player and I /wave, it says you wave at Ghost Bear instead of saying you wave when I click off of him. Okay. And that'll come in handy. There's a lot of emotes. These are called emotes that were funny. So if I walk up to him and I say silly /silly,
Dead.
I tell him a joke.
Pissed.
So as you know here, as I'm just typing in, so I want to tell him I'm waiting for Kronos to come back. Supposedly Sunday, what a Monday. Okay. So yeah, unfortunately their area server is pretty dead. I'm not sure why that is, but for our tutorial purposes, it's actually perfect. Okay. So, combat. Alright. So I move my cursor over this mindless zombie, and I right-click. My character stance changes. This character's name is in yellow. Down here down at the bottom right, you'll see that there's in yellow. What that means is, I can't make this guy hit me unless I hit him first. If his name was red, if I got close to him, he would run and start to attack me. That's called aggroing. When you run near something and you get its attention and it wants to kill you, you can say, you aggroed that monster. The only way to aggro this monster is for me to hit him first. Okay? So we're going to go into melee range and we're going to start hitting. Okay. When a warrior, your rage builds up as you hit. So if my cursor is in the top left, my rage is building. I can spend that rage with my abilities. My heroic strike lit up, meaning I have enough energy to use it. I'll click it, and on my next attack I did 15 damage. White damage is an auto attack, always. Yellow damage is damage that is a special attack. Okay, so I want to right click on this guy again. Well, before we go any further, if you see up here mindless zombie 1 out of 8, it tracked the one I just killed. Okay. Now notice my heroic strike is grayed out.
Not enough rage.
Not enough rage, okay? Now when I start hitting this guy, it'll light up again. I can either click heroic strike or press the number 1. As you see, the animation was different. My guy spun when the heroic struck. There was a block just there, by the way.
Not enough rage.
So, I needed another heroic strike, okay? So that's the difference between auto-attacking and special attacks. So I'm just going to keep going here for a second until this quest is done. So you notice, if you look at my portrait up here, every time he hits me, it gives me information of what happens. I took 1 damage, I took 1 damage, I took 1 damage. Now, you can turn on floating combat text. So if you go to combat text, and then you enable floating combat text, I want to see if I dodge, I want to see damage reductions, I want to see reputation gains, I want to see, where's my damage? Low mana, low health. Okay. So, now, do I want to, I usually use arc, because it has a little bit of a animation, so let's see what happens now when I start attacking. See -1, -1. So you see what I'm doing here? By the way, I'm hitting 1 to a heroic strike, so I can kill this guy faster. I think auto loop may be turned on. Let's see. No, it's not turned on. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. So hit 1 for heroic strike. Okay. when I right-click on the corpse, this loot window comes up. I can move it around, and I get a whopping 1 copper from killing this zombie. So I click it, and I pick it up. However, you can also use, in vanilla, shift-click it. So, I'll show you what I mean in a second once I kill this guy. Also, keep an eye on my experience bar. You'll see that it's moving from left to right, and you will see what happens when I get to the end. Now if I hold shift and right click, it automatically picks up the 1 copper. Okay? And what I'll do, guys, is once Chronos actually comes back, I will create another level 1 warrior and get to the same exact point so we can continue. Okay. I got 53 experience. That was enough to get me to the next level. That gold light animation means I leveled up. If you look at my portrait, it doesn't say level 1 anymore, it says level 2. And it says, congratulations, you have reached level 2. You have gained 9 hit points, your strength is increased by 1, your agility is increased by 1, and your stamina is increased by 1. You loot 4 copper, that's because I just looted this. Let's go over each and every one of these. What is a hit point? If you scroll up on your portrait, you'll see it says health 89 of 89. That is how many points of damage I can take until I die. 89 damage. If I'm in combat, I do not restore that health. If I'm out of combat, I slowly get health back. The only way to get health back in combat is to be healed. Warriors have no way of healing themselves unless they use a potion. Or a bandage, which we'll get into later. The only way we can heal is out of combat, which we can eat, or we can just wait around. Or if we have a healer, a class that's specific to healing, they can heal us in combat. Your strength is increased by 1. If we open up our character info sheet, which is C or clicking here, you'll see strength. Increases attack power by 26, increases block by 1. This will change depending on what expansion you're playing. But for Burning Crusade, every point of strength we get increases our attack power. Okay? Agility. Increases critical strike chance by 5.66%, increases armor. Let's go back up. I think we know what block means. Block is your chance to block, okay? So for agility, every 6 out of 100 times, my damage will do, whatever damage I'm doing will do additional damage. That's called a critical strike. It's a chance to happen. My armor is my ability to reduce incoming damage. So it says increases armor by 38. Let's talk about armor. If we scroll down to armor, the tooltip says reduces physical damage taken by 7.32%. So, if another warrior came up to me and tried to heroic strike me, if you notice the heroic strike says a strong attack that increases melee damage by 11 and causes a high amount of threat. We'll talk about threat later. I automatically reduce 7% of that because I'm wearing armor. And my armor class is higher than most classes. It's male. So I am a warrior, I wear heavy armor, I can reduce damage more than other classes can. Let's continue to stamina. Stamina is your health pool. So if the more stamina I have, the more hit points I have. The more hit points I have, the longer it takes to kill me. Okay? So increases health by 60. Intellect does nothing for a warrior. For other classes, it increases spell damage or critical strike to spells. Do not have to worry about that. Spirit increases health regeneration by 4 per second while not in combat. Okay? That is our base way of recovering health. For magic using classes, Spirit also increases the mana regeneration both outside and inside of combat, because they need to regenerate their mana while they're in combat. Okay, while we're in the character sheet, let's continue to go through this. Each of these are a slot: head, neck, shoulder, back, chest, shirt, tabard, wrist, hands, belt or waist, legs, which I actually have a pair of pants on, feet, which I have a pair of boots, 2 finger slots for rings, and 2 trinket slots. Here we have 2 weapon slots. This can either be filled up by 2 one-handed things or 1 two-handed thing. In this case, I have a one-handed sword and a one-handed shield, taking both these spots up. So when I hit Z on my keyboard, you'll see that one hand I have a sword, one hand I have a shield. Okay? This is your ranged. So warriors can hold both guns, crossbows, and bows. They really don't do much damage with them, but it's really cool if you want to pull something from far away. And you have an ammo slot because you need ammo to shoot your bow or your gun. All these are armor slots. Each of these get an armor. When you open up when you see your inventory, when you get a new piece of armor, it'll say what slot it goes into. It'll say legs, shirt, gloves, hands, whatever. Okay? Now we went over base stats, let's go over melee. So melee means damage you're doing close range. So melee damage is like this. This is melee damage, okay? You're close up. We'll use our heroic strike here. Okay. Keep this in mind right here, guys. It says on the bottom left, your skill in swords is increased to 6. We'll talk about that briefly. Okay. Let's go back to melee. My damage is 5 to 8. I will always do 5 to 8 damage in between those two numbers. My damage per second is 3.3. My sword attacks every 1.9 seconds. So if you divide 5 to 8 by 3.3 or by 1.9, you get somewhere between 3.3. Okay? That's my damage per second. Speed is 1.9 because my sword speed is 1.9. I have no haste. Haste increases decreases the time between attacks. I don't have any. My attack power increases damage with melee weapons by 2.3 damage per second. That's my attack power. Hit rating. Okay. There's a chance that I will miss my swing. So if I have hit, I decrease the chance that I will miss an attack. I have none of that right now. Crit chance, like we said before, is 5.66% based on our agility rating. Okay? Expertise is the ability that I will not be dodged or parried by an attacker. I have no expertise, so I have nothing giving me a bonus towards others either parrying or dodging my attacks. Okay. All right. So base stats we can put wherever we want here. We can put base stats. We have two options, two different brackets. We can put range in there. We can put spell. We can put defenses. Okay. So when I'm tanking, I like to have defenses up, but I'm not tanking. Ranged, it's all NA because I don't have anything equipped. But my power, if I were to have something equipped, would be 11. My hit rating is 0. My crit is the same as my agility. So it's the same whether it's ranged or melee. Spell, yeah, I'm not a magic wielder, so we're not going to get into that. I will say that, though, that bonus damage, bonus healing, hit rating and crit are all the same, but crit is got by intellect, not by agility, okay? If you're a spellcaster. Haste and mana regen. Mana regen's from spirit. Haste is from haste. Bonus healing and bonus damage is from spell power that you get on your gear, okay? Defenses are my armor, my defense rating. Each time I'm hit in the world, I gain experience in defense, okay? I become more defensive the more I get hit. My dodge percent is 5.53%, which is also, I don't know where dodge comes from. I'm not sure. It could be just a base percentage. Parry is 0. Because I don't have parry yet, actually. I don't believe I do. No, I don't. I don't have parry yet. Parry is like, you know, the two swords hitting each other. Bing! That's parry. Block is my chance to use my shield. Resilience is PvP. No. Reduces periodic damage and chance to critically hit by 0%. Okay, we'll get into that later. Anyway, that's the basics, okay? Last thing on this character sheet is Arcane Resistances, Fire Resistance, Nature Resistance, Frost Resistance, and Shadow Resistance. Since I'm an undead, I get 10 Shadow Resistance. Okay, I get that base. That's one of my bonuses of being an undead. Those resistances will come into play when you fight elemental monsters that use those elements. The more resistances you have towards those elements, the less you'll be damaged by them. Okay, you notice I just dodged there? Or he dodged me. Okay. PvP we'll get into when we PvP. Okay, we'll not worry about that. It's player versus player. That's how many points you get killing other players. Reputation. You get reputation points with all the factions that you come in contact with. Whenever you come in contact with a faction, a new bar is created. Since I'm a member of the Horde, I can gain reputation of the 5 Horde races. Darkspear Trolls, Orgrimmar, the Orcs, Silvermoon City, which is the Blood Elves, which are not in Vanilla, Thunderbluff, which are the Tauren, and Undercity, which is my own, which is the Forsaken. And you'll notice that I have the most rep with them because I am Forsaken. Okay? Skills. Okay. Arms is a warrior class. We'll not worry about that for a second. This is really important. Weapon skills. Okay? As a warrior, starting off as an undead warrior, I can use daggers, swords, and two-handed swords. Or I can use my fists. You don't want to do that. I also have a defense rating, which I got into. The more I get hit, the more this goes up. And the more that goes up, the less damage I take. From monsters my own level. If you go up to a monster that's 10 levels above you, that defense really doesn't mean anything. It does, but not very much. So I'm more proficient in swords than I am with daggers or two-handed swords. Why? Because I've been swinging a sword for the past couple minutes. So if we watch this, let's see if my sword goes up. Probably won't, because I'm only level 2. I have a block there. Yeah, your skill in swords increased to 7. Okay? So I'm becoming more proficient with swords as I'm using them. If I were to get a two-handed sword right now, I may miss a little bit until I get that back up. So you have to remember, when you're out in the world and you're switching weapons, don't go fight a boss right away because you need to get those skills up. Okay? Armor proficiencies. As a warrior, I can wear all armor except for plate because I'm not level 40 yet. I can wear cloth, leather, mail, and shields. Okay? You will not want to wear cloth and leather. Unless it's got really good stats on it, you don't want to wear them. Mail is what you want to wear until you're level 40, and then warriors can use plate armor, which is the highest armor class. Okay? Languages, I speak Gutter Speak, which is a Forsaken language, and I speak Orcish, the language of the Horde. Okay? Those are my language skills. They really don't come into play unless you're doing role-playing. It's not a big deal. Alright. Let's do some killing. We're already 31 minutes in. We've covered a lot, but I'm not going to make this too long.
Not rage.
So your main stats as a warrior are going to be, well, it's going to depend on your what you want to do as a warrior. I'm going to level this guy to tank, so I can show you guys how to tank eventually. But I can also do damage. So the two main attributes I want to increase are what? Out of these over here, which ones are most important to me? Give me a few seconds to think about it. It's strength and it's stamina.
I need to get close.
Okay? Although agility is good for tanking, you don't really find a lot of agility gear on Mal. There is some. We don't find a lot. Strength is going to increase my attack power, so these hits will be higher, and stamina will increase how much health I have. Okay, as a tank, stamina is really important. Agility is not too shabby either, but we also want to increase our block rating. The only way we can increase that though is getting better shields, or some actually gear might give block. I'm not really sure, but. By the way, left clicking will move your mouse. That'll move your camera like this while you're standing still. You can move with your A, D, S, and W keys, or you can strafe with your Q and E, or you can use your mouse to steer. So if you hold your right mouse button, you'll actually steer. You'll see my guy steering. He'll change his position, and if I hit W, I can steer with my right mouse. If you hit both your mouse buttons at the same time, you'll run forward. And you can steer, okay? So we need one more wretched zombie, which there's one right here. So we see that the attacks go up like this. That's a normal attack. If you see the attack coming out at you, that's a crit. Let's see if I can get a crit real quick to show you what I mean. Probably won't happen. There's a dodge. I missed that one. The crit chance is like 5.66%, so it's not going to be very common. Dodge again. Well, screw it. Let's just turn our quest. It's bound to happen eventually. So, once your quest is done, 8 out of 8, 8 out of 8, we can go turn this bad boy in. If you hit numlock, you can actually auto-run. I like doing that sometimes, so I don't like holding down the W button. So, numlock is nice to auto-run. So, when you're first starting playing, guys, don't be ashamed to click the actual abilities. I still click it a lot, so don't be ashamed. You're a new player, it's okay. You can also hit the number that's corresponding to it, or you can hotkey this stuff. You hit escape and go to key bindings. You can bind this number 1 to anything you want. Okay, we'll get to that later, but actually, that's going to be up to you if you want to do any of that. I'm not going to cover that. So we've hit level 2, which means that we have a new quest available, and we can turn in this guy. So we'll turn in first. We'll click here. We'll hit continue. Now, we have the option to get a 6 armor hand made of cloth, which we don't really want, but we have no gloves on, so it's actually better than nothing. Or do we want a back piece with 5 armor? We want the most amount of armor. We actually want to go with the gloves. Even though I said we're not going to wear cloth, it offers us more armor at this point. So we got experience from that and reputation, and we're going to right-click on these flax gloves. Actually, guys, that was my fault. There were some drops I didn't talk about. So when we were killing those zombies, some things dropped. Spring water dropped. That would be cool if we were a magic user, because that would increase our mana when we're out of combat, but we don't want that. A cloak dropped. That was the same amount that we would got for the quest, so I'll right-click on that. Actually, let me move this shield so you can see, and watch my guy's back. Now it's on him, okay? Now, of these 2 gloves, one is leather, and it's 22 armor. So we want that one. So we're going to right-click, watch his hands, and now he's wearing gloves. Okay? We've increased our armor rating. That's good. That's less damage we take. This stuff is still in our inventory, and we're going to sell it in a second. This is where your money is. We have 56 copper. We are not rich. Okay? So let's right-click on here, get the next quest. Simple scroll. Read the simple scroll and speak to Daniel Stern in Death Knell, okay? And then rattle the rattle cages, kill 12 rattle cage skeletons, and then return, okay?
Beware the living.
And let's see what she has for
I'm
us.
listening.
Novice Elreth requires 6 scavenger paws and 6 duskbat wings.
Goodbye.
Okay? Now, let's read our note. Many of our kind resort to the arcane and divine as a means to give themselves strength, but we know better, don't we, warrior? We know that our weapons are our holy symbols, our shield is our spellbook, and our mail is our wisdom. Even in undeath, we are strong. We will only become stronger. Find me in the inn in Death Knell. I will speak to you more of these matters and other things. Daniel Stern, warrior trainer. Okay, so let's go over here. Our question mark here tells us he's over here. And we're going to right-click on him. And
What would you ask of
simple
death?
scroll. Continue. Complete quest.
Watch your back.
Now, very important.
Beware the living.
Usually there's an option that says train me, okay? But there's no need for that now. There are 2 things we can buy. One of them is parry, and one of them is battle shout. There's usually a cost associated with each of these, but on this server, they don't have a cost. Don't ask me why, but there's always a cost associated with these on a vanilla server, okay? We're going to train both of these.
Beware
Now, we have the passive
our
ability
enemies
to parry,
abound.
which means we can parry attacks. Like I said before, we have block and we have parry. We have 2 ways of mitigating damage, okay? But we got a new ability called Battle Shout. So let's bring this down. Battle Shout. The The warrior shouts, increasing the melee attack power of all party members within 20 yards by 15. That's kind of cool, but it costs rage to use, and it only lasts 2 minutes. So we want to try to keep that up at all times. That's going to increase our power, okay, our attack power. All right, let's go to our quests. Let's shift-click the ones we need. Okay, now we have them over here. Let's see what we can do right here real quick. Oh, I wanted to go over vendoring with you real quick. Okay, we have this cloth and leather armor merchant. When you hover over him, it turns into an anvil. That means you can also repair, but that also means you can buy and sell. Right-click,
Exactly what you
and a window will come up with a bunch of things you can buy. Yes, a lot of this armor is better than what we have, but we don't want to spend our money. We want to save it. Okay, things are expensive in this game, and it's not going to benefit us that much to buy this stuff. So we're going to sell these gloves we don't need, and we're also going to sell this water we don't need. So we just made 6 copper. Doesn't sound like a lot, but everything adds up.
No one.
Okay. If our stuff was damaged, this repair button would be highlighted, and we can actually click it and spend money to repair our goods,
Victory for
our armor.
Sylvanas.
When our armor loses durability, okay, look at my sword here. It says durability 20 of 20. When it gets to 0 of 20, it is broken, and I can no longer use it. You can repair it, but you can't use it unless you go to a repair person. Okay, so it's very important to always repair when you have time and when you have the money to do it. So let's knock out these 2 quests real quick. Now, just see what just happened? That wolf ran towards me. We're going to use our battle shot here. Now our damage will increase. Also heroic strike. Now we're killing things a little bit faster. Scavenger paw 1 of 6. We've picked up a scavenger paw. Okay, that's good. Here's a dust bat. We also need dust bat wings, so we have to kill them too as well. Our battle shot's still up on the top right, so we don't have to reuse it right now. We can just use heroic strikes. We can use our rage to do heroic strikes. Okay. Just continue. Put my battle shot back up. You'll notice I'm kind of OCD. I always try to make sure my shouts are up. So I'll even redo them before they're up.
Have a target.
Okay. I'm unsure why these guys are attacking. Because their names are yellow, they shouldn't be doing that. But it's a good way of showing you what other mobs are like in this game. So there are mobs that will run and attack you. Okay? Here's a critical strike. Another one. When the numbers get really big, that's a critical strike. We'll also increase 1 level, guys. We've got level 3. Congratulations. And we've aggroed him again. That's kind of looks like a bug to me. So critical strikes happen at the percentage that your character sheet says they happen, but they're always awesome when they happen because it's additional damage that it's just like bonus damage. You know? It's great. There's another critical strike. Okay. Now, I'm going kind of fast, so I hope I'm not losing you, but in the interest of time, this is a very long game, so there's a lot to cover. And this is just tutorial number 1, so there's a lot of things we're going to be covering, like instances and healing, leveling, healing, new abilities, how we do combos, how we link our abilities together. So all that stuff has to happen as well. So there's going to be a lot we're covering. We've got a lot done today, though, a lot of the basics. And I'm probably going to go until these 2 quests are done, then we're going to stop today. Missed there, but I dodged him, so that's cool.
Not enough.
Okay. Feel bad killing. Oh, we need these guys too, so we'll kill them. These allocated skeletons are on our level, so they're actually a little bit more of a challenge. Okay. I need to kill 12 of these guys, so we're gonna get this done pretty quick. We're gonna run through this as fast as we can. This is basic progression, okay? This is what you're gonna be doing. You're gonna be getting quests from people, you're gonna be completing the objectives, and you're gonna be going back for rewards, whether that be money, experience, items, or both, or all three. You'll always get money, you'll always get experience, you may not always get items, okay? So money is important in this game for many reasons. You may want to buy gear, but the most important thing you want to save money for at low level is you want to save money for your mounts. At level 40 and level 60 you can purchase mounts, one faster than the next. At level 40 you get your first mount, which is the slow mount, as I call it, but it costs 100 gold. As you know, we only have 69 silver, so we're not doing too well. So it's gonna take a lot of saving money to get those things. So you want to be frugal in this game. You don't want to spend money on things you don't need, because chances are you're gonna out-level them pretty quick. Unless there's something you're gonna keep for a while, like a blue item, which I'll get into what that means hopefully soon. All these items are white or gray, which means they're common or one's common. I think white's common, and gray is like, I forget. Anyway, they're both crap. They don't give you any additional attributes. They're better than nothing, but they don't give you anything. So you'll notice later on in the game, as we're leveling, I want to get better gear, and that's the kind of stuff as I need. I want to keep that. So. Get some nice crits here. Really can't wait till I get charged. The warriors have an ability where they charge the enemy and actually produce rage. It's great for opening up. Okay. I keep killing these skeletons. And hopefully get to level 4 before we end this. Notice I always keep my battle shot up, guys, because it's going to increase my movement and my damage. You want to keep that up as much as you can. It just makes life easier for you as a warrior. Now if you're using another class, this guide will still be good for you. If you don't have to stick with a warrior, but after the tutorial, you can always move to something else. I think this tutorial will probably last till about level 20. Maybe like level 15. I want to basically run this tutorial until we get the level, until we do our first dungeon, okay, and then our first battleground, and then we'll stop, because basically that's the game. I mean, things do get much harder, but those are the basic concepts: PvP, PvE, questing, raiding, dungeoning, and then there's raiding, which is basically a larger dungeon. Okay, raiding is a dungeon with more people. Dungeons are 5-man content. There's 5 people, 1 tank, 1 healer, and 3 people who deal damage. They're called DPS. Tank is the guy who takes all the damage. That's the role I will be filling in well, it depends. We'll see. Tanking is, maybe I'll make that, it's a tutorial in its own. Maybe we'll just do some damage. One more skeleton, and we need another pelt, or a paw, or excuse me, a wing. There's our wing. We need 2 more paws from the wolves. One more paw. Hopefully this one drops it. Okay, I mean, one more skeleton, we're done. Alright, and where is one? Right there. Okay. Alright, let's go back to town. It is raining in Tearsfog Lakes. What the? That was weird. I think we'll level from turning these two quests.
What is it?
Okay, and we get bracers or a belt. The belt gives more armor. We want that. Okay.
Do not seek death.
Right click to put the belt on. She has another quest for us. We'll grab that for now.
Dark Lady, watch over
And
you.
we'll turn this in. And we'll get these legs. Yeah, 58 armor. That's nice. And we level. Every even number level, guys, we want to go to our trainer because they're going to have new stuff for us to learn. So we're going to run out here, grab this quest.
This had better be good.
And apparently there's a quest over here too. A lot of quests for us.
What is it?
We'll go over these next time. And our trainer over here.
Speak quickly.
What do we have now? Charge and rend. Okay. Charge lets us run to our enemy very fast and gives us rage. That's a good opener. We want rage. That's how we do our abilities. And rend is a bleed. It's a dot, which stands for damage over time. It costs rage just like everything else. But when we use it, it doesn't do any initial damage, but it does damage every second. Okay? And that's like a bleed effect. That's awesome. So when we have that in addition to our regular damage, we're doing additional damage. So that's something that's really cool. Okay, Ren's pretty awesome. Okay. Thank you very much for this. I will be doing this semi-regularly, so be patient. It may take a while before the next one comes up, because I have my Shaman project that I'm working on as well. And I'm probably going to change menus to Chronos, but the first one here is fine. They're similar enough at this level, the Burning Crusade and Vanilla, that we're not going to notice a difference. Okay? Have a good one, guys. See you later.